Hello ladies and gentlemen, right, straight into it. Last night, which was the, bear with me, 9th of February 2015, for the first time in about just over a year I believe, I attended the local community council meeting in my area. The reason I went along specifically was because it was my understanding, incorrectly as it transpires, but it was my understanding that there was going to be somebody speaking about the new Aldi development. If you've seen one of the other videos that I've got up, what I'm planning to do with that is like follow the development through. At the moment it's like they're just digging the ground up, you know, that sort of thing, but what I'm planning to do is like follow it through, you know, through the building stage till they actually get the thing open. Anyway, so that was the reason I went to the meeting. Now, because I thought somebody was going to be speaking about this Aldi development, I decided to go along with my camera. And before the meeting started, I was talking to a police officer outside of the meeting hall, but inside the building, if you see what I mean. And I was telling him that I intended to video record the meeting. He was asking me why and if it was legal and all this stuff, and I was showing him stuff on my iPhone, you know, various government websites that this Eric Pickles has, you know, decreed that apparently this is all still up in the air in my area, right? But apparently the way that I'm reading it is, I believe that not just me, but you know, any member of the public could actually take a video camera into a community council or parish council meeting. In fact, one of my cyber buddies, Matt, who goes under the Jesus of Kayaking on YouTube, he has actually videoed some parish council meetings in his area. Now, alright, in his area they're called parish council meetings, my area the community council. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's much of a muchness. So if the councils, parish councils in Matt's area are allowing it, the question then is begged, why aren't the community councils in my area allowing it, right? Now, coming back to my point, talking to this police officer, having a private conversation with him one-to-one, okay, and then I was rudely interrupted by a man who I'd never seen before in my life, okay, and he came in and butted in to this private conversation, and he said something like, you haven't read it properly, or you haven't read it, or something like that, right? And I'm stood there and I'm thinking to myself, excuse me, you know, you see, fortunately, ladies and gentlemen, for me, I consider myself fortunate, you see, I was brought up properly, right, to have respect and consideration for other people, right, and this gentleman that I'm going to talk about in a moment doesn't seem to have had that kind of an upbringing, because had the situation been reversed, in his shoes, what I would have done is approached myself and said, excuse me, I couldn't help overhearing part of your conversation. Could I just point out that I think you're incorrect in what you're saying? And the reason I think you're incorrect is because XYZ blah blah, insert reason here, right? That for me would have been the polite, courteous and discreet way of going about it, but no, okay. So I've since found out that this gentleman, who I'd never seen before in my life, who butted in to my private and personal conversation with this police officer, is called Chris Snowdon. Now, if you Google, well, I don't know about you, but if I've just Googled it now, right, before I turn the camera on, I've Googled Chris Snowdon, Middlesbrough Council, okay? Now, where are we? 1, 2, 3, yeah, three down, three links down. It says, defiant tweeter refuses to apologise to Ray Mallon. This is from the Evening Gazette, which is our local paper, right? And it says something about where are we? I've lost it. There we are. The Coulby Newham resident, this is from the 7th of August 2014, by the way. The Coulby Newham resident has refused to take down a Twitter comment about the Middlesbrough Mayor's political advisor, Chris Snowdon. Now, from that, I'm assuming, right, I don't know, but I'm assuming that this Chris Snowdon, who I was told by somebody at the meeting last night that's who this guy was, his name, Chris Snowdon, I'm assuming that that's the said same Chris Snowdon that I've just read about there, who apparently, if it is the same chap, is the political advisor to my town's mayor, right? And this is how the gentleman conducts himself, you know, earwigging people's private conversations and then just butting in without any courtesies or finesse or, you know, and none of that. Just like, you know, you haven't read it, right? To which I replied, well, actually I have read it, meaning Eric Pickles, you know, blurb, right? And then he says something like, well, you haven't read it. And I said, well, don't tell me what I haven't read, because you don't know, which is true, right? And he said, well, all right then, you haven't understood it. And I said, well, that's different, isn't it? Right, all right. I was being a bit pedantic, but it got me back up, because, you know, you just don't approach people in that way. You know, not if you've been, excuse me, not if you've been brought up in a correct manner, you know, as I've just outlined earlier. Anyway, so the upshot of it all was, we went into the meeting. I announced to everybody in the meeting in a fairly loud voice, including the chair, the councillors, blah de blah, right, the secretary, all of that, that it was my intention to video record the meeting. Did anybody have any objections? And the secretary said straight away, yes, I object, right? And I said, okay, what about recording audio only? To which the secretary replied, I object to that also. And I said, okay, fine, I'll respect their wishes on this occasion, right? But this is pending, ladies and gentlemen, an email that I sent to the office of Eric Pickles last night when I got back from the meeting, outlining briefly what had gone on and seeking clarification on the issue, because according to this Mr. Snowdon, filming is only allowed where decisions are taken, or something like that, right? I'm working from memory, so, you know, Mr. Snowdon, if you get to see this video and I haven't quoted you verbatim, apologies, but, you know, my memory's not what it was. But that's the gist of it, right? And so I respected the wishes. I didn't record any part of the meeting whatsoever. But if I get a response back from Eric Pickles' office saying that I am in fact allowed to video the meetings, then I will be taking that document to the next meeting after I receive the document, if indeed I do, and saying to them, look, there you go, it's in black and white, right? And obviously I'll still respect people's wishes, you know. If they don't want to be on camera, I won't point the camera at them, or if I accidentally catch them on, you know, some shot, I'll put it into the video editing app and, you know, do and pixelate the face, or put a black image or something over it to block them out, whatever, right? But I really can't understand why certain people are so anti-openness, particularly with local councils, right? And given that 2 local councillors were there at the meeting, both Labour councillors, by the way, and a guy from traffic, who was also part of the council, and this other chap, you know, my favourite person here, this Mr. Snowdon, right, who's got, you know, all the tact and the plum of a rotten grape, right, he was sat at the back. Now apparently, but at the end of the meeting, on any other business, I asked the question to the chair, could you give me briefly the criteria for people attending these meetings? And they said, you know, well, like, can you expand, what do you mean? I said, well, look, I know that residents can attend the meeting, that's a given, right? So what about other people, right? Because apparently this Mr. Snowdon, I don't think he lives in my area, but he's at the meeting as an observer. Well, okay, all well and good, but the chair also said to me that there was another person there as well who didn't live in the area, and the chair said that they declared their interests to the chair prior to the meeting. Now I said, well, shouldn't those interests be declared to the public, or announced to the public, I think was what I actually said, right, at the meeting? Because, you know, if members of the local community, residents, are at a meeting, I think they have a right to know who's there earwigging, right? Now, this Chris Snowdon guy, I didn't know him from Adam until someone else at the meeting said to me, oh, that's Chris Snowdon, the Mayor's political advisor, right? Well, he may have a right to be there as an observer, but the point in question in my mind is, what is he there to observe? You know? Does he think, you know, that, like, the local community council is like some secret sect, and, like, you know, if he doesn't turn up, we all ravage all the women and, you know, run around a gay band and throwing our clothes off and stuff like that? You know, what the hell does he think goes on there? I don't know. Very strange. I find it, you see, but again, that's politics, and I find politics very strange, to be truthfully honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. Particularly Labour politics. Let's just leave it at that, shall we? Right, I think I've said everything that I need to say on this matter. So I will catch you all later. Bye now.